So hello everyone, this is Kale Sparling from Lean Technologies. I want to introduce you to Pete. I'll allow Pete to introduce himself, and as you can see on my screen in the background, got his company, Intek Plastics. So Pete, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello everyone, I'm Pete Barboni. I'm the Continuous Improvement Manager with Intek Plastics in Hastings, Minnesota. I manage the continuous improvement function as well as manufacturing engineering, and also overview safety and our senior safety engineer. Intek has been around since the 60s. We're about a 50 going on $60 million company. 125,000 square foot factory in Hastings, Minnesota. We've also have a small extrusion operation in Hawthorne, New Jersey that supports primarily the point of purchase market.
Great. Well, Pete, thanks for joining me today. We've had a good run as partners between Lean Technologies and Intek Plastics with Thrive as the software. So wanted to give you a chance, and appreciate you spending some time with us, give you a chance to talk about what Thrive has helped you do and accomplish. Thrive is the tool, but really the process and the goals that you guys have set and have sought after is the real challenge. So we wanted to hear about what you're doing there and what Thrive has brought to the table. So let's start from the beginning. Tell us about what you were doing before you got engaged with Thrive and what you were trying to accomplish, and maybe some of the challenges you were faced with.
Sure. I've been with Intek since the year 2000, and I started kind of in a process engineering role. As we saw some new leadership in later 2003, we began a rapid deployment of Lean and really jumped in head first on our Lean journey. With that, we brought some consultants in to help us lead Kaizen, and we focused heavily on the 5S or 6S, as some call it, and setup reduction. We knew we had large inventories. We had to go to tighter models with respect to every part every week or every 2 weeks, rather than holding 6-week inventories. So we really focused on setup reduction at first. But when it came to daily problem solving, when it came to measuring plan versus actual on a daily, hourly, shiftly basis, breaking it down and solving problems real time, we weren't good at it yet. We weren't, Lean was new to us in that time frame. And as we got more mature in our journey, and we started putting, forms on the line to track when we started our setups, when we started our good pieces or good footage, and then we ended our run, and then we started to look at plan versus actual. We even put some boards at the end of the line, whiteboards, to track good footage and scrap footage. And the visual control really wasn't there for us. There was no, red or green. We didn't have good or any, if you will, action plans on if it was below expected. So we really didn't have leader standard work at the time. We didn't have a daily problem-solving structure. So in addition, you had all your maintenance PMs, you had all your quality NCRs or what your particular company calls it. We didn't really track engagement at all. All of the things that really encompass an operation and tracking and metrics, we had standalone systems or no system. And when Lean was presented to us as an MES package, not just a plan versus actual, goal board tracking system, it was the whole package that really kind of impressed us. A little bit more background information: we had just launched a new ERP system in the year 2000, October of 2000. And with that, we were using it and intending to use it to solve problems. But the problem with feeding that beast with transactions was it spit out shop order costing compared to a standard, pardon me. But what wasn't good about that is it was all rear view rear view looking. There was no real time, there was no red or green. You had to really dig deep into the system, and so it wasn't yielding any value. Nor were any systems set up to review that on a frequency to solve problems. And by the time we got the information, it wasn't timely to solve problems. It all kind of fell into place at the same time when Thrive was presented to us as the package, from a goal board standpoint, from a maintenance downtime, maintenance inventory, maintenance spare parts, maintenance work requests, engineering work requests, the whole quality and NCR system and assignments and tracking. And then obviously the big bang for us has been the goal boards and the downtime and tracking lost time and scrap. Also, it's really helped us to start and drive engagement at Intek. We started tracking improvement projects. Our engineering group uses it for all new product introductions, all of our die rebuilds, all tooling requests, all engineering requests for better equipment. And so they use the engineering project requests and projects. So it was just a one-stop shop for a lot of standalone things we had and some of the things we didn't have. So been a
Can I ask you a question about back when you started your CI journey, and I imagine there's probably a lot of excitement around that. Mm-hmm. Do you remember how you were feeling when you got into it with that excitement? Did it continue, or did you have some stumbling blocks and frustrations along the way, or what was your path to even prior to starting with Thrive? And you mentioned some of your visual tools that you were trying to work, but maybe weren't working as well as you'd hoped.
Some of it had to do with our own organizational structure. Some of it had to do with the use of standalone systems, and really it came down to the follow through on the systems we put in place to drive improvement. We implemented stand-up meetings. We had the typical SQDC, safety, quality, delivery, cost agenda items, but when you implement a tool, whether it's Thrive or a stand-up meeting or any tool, if you don't have a system behind the tool to drive the improvement, it kind of doesn't work. So we did that with stand-up meetings. We had the agenda. We didn't have a baseline set of metrics to really drive the stand-up meeting conversation. We talked about safety incidents. So we talked about some real-time things, but we didn't really have a how did we do last shift or how did we do yesterday set of metrics to really drive the stand-up conversation. So that kind of was some stumbling blocks. Even when we brought Thrive in, our first versions of goal board, we've continually improved Thrive from the day we bought it to last year. And it's really, been an upward trend in how we've used it and how we've worked with Kale and Scott to really drive improvement in our goal boards and what the operator interface looks like, and the goals they have per day. It's not just in our case, footage and good footage. It's also if you had a gap between expected and where you're at, what were the reasons for that downtime, and being able to put a custom banner into our goal board to help an operator understand that he or she has a number as well, and that number is unaccounted for time. It's not to point at a person, it's to help drive daily problem solving and help make life easier, faster, better.
How do you recall the early stand-up meetings you had a decade ago or so, compared to today, or daily meetings or shift meetings?
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about the way they were versus what you're doing today with those meetings and the information that you have?
Right now, our tiered accountability system, so we use the Thrive goal board data and the daily closed goal board report to give us information on how each goal board ran, and the scrap behind it. And then we take our the ones that meet the top threshold for, for red, and discuss those in our daily problem solving structure. So it's really shown us, you see what's red and what's not. The other big thing we're rolling out this year is we've kind of stumbled through value streams and span of control systems. We've had our building split into two, we used to call them cells or sides. We've combined two factories into one in 2009. So as we've kind of recalibrated our lean journey from 2010 to today, we brought a second supervisor in to manage each side of the building. So now we have two. And then in 2019, now we brought a third in. And so we have 3 8-line value streams. And with that, we've taken the goal boards on each line computer and we've displayed them in 2 areas in each value stream. And so now we have a value stream structure with a supervisor, a manufacturing engineer, a quality engineer, and a development technician that is a value stream team that has the basis for improvement. The displayed goal board overview. Are we red or green in any individual bucket, whether that be non-running setup, running setup, or red within run, which for us is less than 85% of the expected footage. So we have the real-time data for problem solving. We have the tiered meetings, our stand-up meetings that we review how we did yesterday. And we have the entire basis now for an effective daily problem solving system. And so that, literally from the day we bought Thrive to 2019, from an organizational structure and development of the software with the Thrive folks, we've just been on a upward trend there, developing our system.
Yeah, we appreciate that. We're on our own continuous improvement journey as well, and you well know that that's a journey. It's not a destination necessarily. It's always going. So we appreciate partnering with you guys to make our product better along the way. So thanks for challenging us.
Yeah.
So you've described how you got started and what some of the data Thrive has brought to the table and the information. So tell me a little bit about how you would, describe the value that's brought to you in terms of whether it's improvements for you personally in your roles and whether it's made life easier or not. And then, what has it brought to the company? Not necessarily Thrive that it has done anything by itself, but in conjunction with your process and the way that you've improved your organization. What are some of the things you've been able to achieve with the support?
Sure. I got a lot to talk about there. First of all, not all out-of-the-box software is customizable. And to be able to work with Thrive to customize it for our unique industry, we're a process industry, so we don't just have setup, run, and maintenance. We have a non-running portion of our setup. We have a running portion of our setup, which starts to accumulate scrap, and then we run good parts, sometimes not good parts, and sometimes we have downtime within our runs where we take our die off to clean it and put it back on. So we have some non-running portions of our downtime. And so to be able to repurpose some of the goal board buckets and customize it with Kale and Scott, but also code some of the downtime codes to not accumulate scrap and some to accumulate scrap really helped us design reports to be meaningful on a daily basis. So that's been a huge bang for us. It really helps us to see, hourly, daily, and then, even from an annual basis, doing customizable reports. You pretty much can do any report for any business function for any time fence and be able to see what happened yesterday, last week, last month, or last year. So that's been a huge value for us. From a results standpoint, we've done multiple setup reduction events using the Thrive data, based on the last number of times that goal board is ran, or based on the last 30 days or 90 days, to see what the baseline is and where we're at. So we've achieved, I'd say we looked at the top 80% of our business is about 125 of our 1,000 dies, and we've taken half of those and reduced those non-running setup times 50% and running setups 25%. So, in our size business, the value, the ROI, I'd say is, north of $1 million, into the millions, and that I talk is potential. Also, we use it for safety incident tracking, and real time, and those messages come directly to all leadership team members and engineers, and so we're on safety right away. So the incident investigations happen immediately. It's driving improvement for us. We're at record lows, this month in our incident rate, all-time lows in our workers' comp claims. So,
congratulations.
It drives a lot of improvement at Intek, being able to utilize it for many different business functions.
Great. Well, thank you for sharing. That sounds like some really good potential savings that you've been able to realize. So, and especially I like to hear on the safety side. That's, we talked earlier about employees and engagement and retention, and that's definitely one of the ways to do so. Appreciate our team members there. So what would you say in terms of, if somebody was asking why should we consider LeanTech or Thrive software, what would you say would be the reason they should go for it?
But I got a couple of components to that answer. One of them is, just the basis of lean. If there is no problem, there is no improvement. Problem being a gap. You're either not performing to standard or there's a better way, and those gaps are what you focus on to drive improvement. And Thrive is a good basis for a tiered accountability system. It allows you to put standards in by whether it's your product or your process, or your maintenance PMs and that. So it's the ability to have a standard and to do real time and review reporting to improve. But the other big value for us was to take a number of standalone systems and put them into one manufacturing execution system package. And then a third component I just thought of is every level of your company can have a number. Every level of your company can create custom dashboards. Through your login page, you have your own, dashboard screen. You can create the dashboards that are meaningful to your group or your department or your shift or your line or your day. So it helps you to drive improvement when you see metrics going north or south, or, that type of thing.
Yeah. Well, thank you. We appreciate the feedback and the support. So we've enjoyed working with your team and look forward to it going forward. So
sure.
Well, that concludes our interview today with Pete from Intek Plastics. Thanks for watching, and if you have any questions, contact us at Lean Technologies.